Hi, it's me, Bob, again. I want to talk about the Copper Scroll project. I didn't talk about it for a while because I was dealing with some interpretations of verses that really confused me. But I think I've got them figured out now. And I think it's time to once again talk about the Copper Scroll, which is really the Copper Scroll project by Jim Barfield. If you want to look into it and understand it, um, it's very important and it plays a big part, in my opinion, in the tribulation period, the start of the tribulation period with Israel. Um, and I'd like to explain a little bit about the Copper Scroll. It was found in Qumran, uh, which is in Israel, right around the time of the Dead Sea Scrolls. But this is a little different than the Dead Sea Scrolls because it was written on copper, hence the Copper Scroll. And it was finally deciphered by a man named Jim Barfield, who was gifted by God to understand the Copper Scroll and to research it and to literally figure it out. And what it turned out to be is a treasure map. And it's a treasure map of 64, I think, areas in Qumran, which are buried treasure. And this treasure is the treasure of the Solomonic temple. If you remember King David and his son Solomon, Solomon built a temple, and King Solomon was the richest man in the world, probably that ever was, uh, richer than Elon Musk and anybody. Um, and inside of this cave that the Copper Scroll talks about is buried that treasure from the Solomonic temple. I made a list of some of the things that are probably in that temple, in that cave. Um, and I'd like to mention some of those things. If you give me a second. Um, First of all, there are probably trillions of dollars of gold and silver and precious stones. By the way, someone sent me a email about about that gold and silver and precious stones, and perhaps a significance of that term that I just mentioned. It says in Daniel 11:38, it says, "But in his estate," meaning the Antichrist, "shall he honor the God of forces, and the God whom his fathers knew not shall he honor with gold and silver and with precious stones and pleasant things." So there's a good chance that once this gold and silver and precious stones are returned to Israel, and the Antichrist, which is Emmanuel Macron, uh, will use that gold and that silver and those precious stones to somehow honor his father, the devil. And we're not quite sure or understand how that's going to happen, but that verse seems to indicate that that's exactly what he's going to do with that, probably after the middle of the tribulation, when he declares himself to be God and takes over that treasure. Um, Most of my people are familiar with this Copper Scroll. I've talked about it before, and I put forth a scenario that I think makes a lot of sense. I'll go over it shortly, quickly, and that is that during the Psalm 83 war, Jordan will be one of the countries that will be taken over by Israel. Jordan will lose its statehood, and Israel will take over that land. and get it back. And they'll be able to go to that cave that is mentioned, by the way, in Second Maccabees, talks about the exact cave that Jim Barfield and his people discovered by deciphering the Copper Scroll. So the odds of Jim Barfield finding this cave, and it's the exact cave probably that Second Maccabees talks about. Second Maccabees says that before Israel was taken over by the Babylonian Empire, all of the vestments and the treasure from the Solomonic Temple was taken by Jeremiah and some other people, prophets, and hidden outside of that area so that the Babylonians wouldn't get a hold of it. So again, that seems to indicate that the treasure is indeed in this cave that Jim Barfield and his people discovered. So getting back to that cave, Psalm 83 will give, in my opinion, Emmanuel Macron, the access to that cave. And the reason I say that is because he's going to know where that cave is, and he's going to excavate that treasure probably 10 minutes after the Psalm 83 war. And he is going to, in my opinion, ride into Jerusalem, maybe even with a donkey, on a donkey, and present the findings inside that cave to the Sanhedrin. And some of the materials and the goods that are in that cave are as following. The Ark of the Covenant, trillions of dollars in gold and silver and precious stones that we've already talked about. The Mosaic Tabernacle, remember the tabernacle in the wilderness that Moses used for 40 years with the people of Israel as they traveled. They believe that the tent, the tabernacle is indeed in that cave. And by the way, Israel is going to need that tabernacle because they're not going to be able to build the temple right away. They're going to need a temporary place to store these treasures in. And they even have the area in which that tabernacle will be set up. It's in a place called Shiloh, which is completely opposite of the East Gate in Jerusalem. So they will set that tabernacle up in Shiloh and begin their animal sacrifices. They also believe that the priestly vestments, including the high priest breastplate, which is called the Unum Thorum, if I got that correct, will be in that cave. And that priestly vestment will be worn by the high priest. Believe it or not, the ashes of the red heifer are believed to be in that cave. We haven't heard anything about the ashes of the red heifer in quite a while. Not sure why. Something must have happened to stop that. Again, we're not privy to what has happened. But if they unearth that cave, there's a good chance that the old ashes of the red heifer are still there. So they can use that to begin purifying the vestments and what the priests need to purify. There's also furnishings from the Solomonic Temple, which are believed to be in that cave. And there's supposed to be another map inside that cave, which will probably lead to other treasures that are buried in Qumran. Who knows what they'll find in that cave according to this map. But again, Psalm 83 will take over that Qumran area, which is now controlled by Jordan. Emmanuel Macron will excavate, him and his people will excavate that cave, take out all of this treasure, ride into Jerusalem, present all of this to the Sanhedrin. And in my opinion, anybody that returns all of this treasure, including the Ark of the Covenant, will instantly be coronated as the Messiah, along with other things that probably will be happening at that time. So Emmanuel Macron will be coronated as the Messiah. And he will set up this kingdom. Rome, of course, will take over, and we'll go back to Israel dealing with Rome, and we'll once again deal with God. God will once again start dealing with Israel, and Israel will have all of that treasure. Israel will get back all of that land. And one other important thing that I need to mention, we all know about Ezekiel 38, which talks about Russia and Turkey and other countries that will attack Israel. One of the reasons that that Russia will attack Israel, according to Ezekiel 38, is this. If I can get to it. In Ezekiel 38:13, it says that Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of Tarshish, with all of their young lions thereof, shall say, Art thou come to take a spoil? Talking to Russia. Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey? In other words, Russia is going to attack Israel. And the countries that are watching this whole thing are going to say to Russia, are you come to take away gold and silver, and to take away cattle and goods, and to take away a great spoil? Now, this seems to indicate, to me at least, that they are going to come to take away this Solomonic treasure. And if they come to take a great spoil, could that possibly be the Ark of the Covenant? I don't know, but I think it's a good possibility. So I think it's critically important that all of Bible prophecy students in the last days do some research and understand just how important this copper scroll is. It really fills in a lot of pieces of the puzzle in the end times. And if you read Second Maccabees, which I understand is not part of the Bible, it's not one of the canonical books, but it is interesting. And it does say that this cave will be opened for business, if you will, when Israel is back in their land. And Israel is back in their land. And so now is the time that this cave should be opened, and all of this treasure will be returned to Israel. And then the final act, if you will take place. God will start dealing with Israel again. Israel will start dealing with Rome again, with Macron, who will probably declare himself the emperor of Rome. And it's getting interesting, brothers and sisters. So hang in there. We should be going home pretty soon. And keep an eye on this Copper Scroll project. It's very important and very interesting also. If you like the Raiders of the Lost Ark, which a lot of people did, this is very similar to that, and it's very fascinating. Okay?